So originally, I didn't want to make a video talking about the whole Moon Girl situation because I'm a sole believer of staying in your lane when it comes to social political issues. As a minority myself, I hate when people who aren't part of a specific group feels entitled to weigh in on a situation that doesn't pertain to them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's been recently come to light that Disney is withholding an episode from the series Moon Girl and Dinosaur from airing. Why? Well, one of the reasons I keep seeing mentioned is that one of the writers came forward claiming that Disney withheld the episode due to the current political climate following a certain party being victorious in the US presidential election. Apparently, the episode touched on a sensitive topic, and what is this topic? Trans women in women's sports. Now let's continue talking about the episode in question, titled The Gatekeeper. So keep in mind, I didn't watch any full episodes of Moon Girl Dinosaur prior to this controversy and beginning this video. I've seen some clips here and there on TikTok and I always viewed them in a positive light. I didn't watch the show myself because I didn't have Disney Plus and I stopped watching cable TV years ago. The main premise of the episode follows Lunella's volleyball team where her team captain Brooklyn, who was assigned male at birth but later transitioned, allowing her to participate on the girls' volleyball team, is being discriminated against by the other team's coach, Coach Greer. As Coach Greer realizes that Brooklyn is in fact a trans person, the episode goes out its way to show that Coach Greer is in fact overreacting and no one else seems to care. She tries to approach this information to Lunella's volleyball team coach, Coach Hepburn. He firmly defends Brooklyn, saying that based on the rules provided by the committee, she's allowed to compete on his team. Of course, this doesn't sit well with Coach Greer, who decides to sabotage Lunella's team by locking them in a gym locker room using a superpowered key that traps them in a separate dimension. The only way getting out is for them to play her games, following Greer's rules, which involves them finding 20 keys to unlock 20 locks. After the team finds all 20 key locks and escape, they realize the game has resetted, taking them back into the same room. This is where we see Brooklyn have a mental breakdown, blaming herself for her team being in the situation, saying that the only way for them to follow Greer's rules is for her to quit the team because her being trans goes against Greer's rules in general. After being reassured and shut up by her teammates, they figure out the only way for her to truly defy Greer's rules is to metaphorically and physically break the box that Greer has them trapped in. The box being the literal gym locker room that they are trapped in. The episode ends with Coach Greer being escorted by the referee. In a touching moment, Greer's daughter takes the high road, apologizing to Brooklyn for their mother's action, with the two teams making amends and finally starting their volleyball game. Overall, I like the episode. I can see why the show has gained this much popularity. The episode was able to tackle the subject of trans women in sports in a tasteful way that doesn't feel like it's forcing any messages down the viewer's throat. I like how the episode was able to establish Brooklyn as a realistic character. The episode did a great job of making her struggles and experience feel authentic. However, as someone who doesn't personally identify with the trans community, I don't feel entirely comfortable commenting how well Brooklyn was actually depicted from the lens of a trans viewer. What I can say is that based on this episode, Brooklyn feels like a genuine human being, and that's always a step in the right direction. But now it's time to dive into the main reason why I want to make this video, to talk about Disney and the entertainment industry as a whole. By the way, if you notice I'm not using full featured footage from the episode as I talk about it, it's because I've seen other creators on this platform have their videos taken down for that, and I'm not trying to mess with big Disney right now. Now, to get to the point, I'm not surprised that Disney didn't have the backbone to air this episode. In my opinion, Disney is just like any other major corporation. They don't generally care about social justice or any morally good causes. The priority is one thing, and that is hold hard cash. This is the same company that forced multiple daycare centers to shut down simply for having morals of their characters being shown. It's also the same company that when someone died due to mishandling on their end, they tried covering up by saying that the victim's family couldn't sue because there was a clause sitting in the terms of agreement saying that any person subscribing to Disney Plus can't sue the company in any future endeavors. But leaving to the big amounts to show out for Pride Month, pretending they care about gay rights and proper media representation of LGBTQ people. Spoilers, they don't. What really gets me mad is how ever since a certain person has won office, I've been seeing a lot of talks of us now living in a post-woke era. Like, bro, is this your 7th birthday or something? I hate when certain people complain about there's an agenda being pushed onto kids through media as if there's some ongoing propaganda warping the minds of the public, especially when these companies they are criticized really don't care about either side. This Moon Girl episode is proof of that, because for the one time this episode made by Disney didn't dance around the subject line, they attacked it head on. Say what you want about the episode, but the episode itself tackled this subject in a realistic light. People are becoming more open-minded when it comes to having these discussions, even when they're coming from different viewpoints. An honest conversation between opposite sides is what we need. A need for what? The need of making the right progress in society, not this nasty echo chamber that some people are rooting for. Take, for example, the situation with Algerian boxer Iman Khalif. She identifies with the sex she was assigned at birth, yet she was labeled as a man due to the possibility of her having a birth condition that resembles Soros syndrome that allows women being born with XY chromosomes. Keep in mind, Miss Khalif was born and represents the country of Algeria, where it's illegal to have any gender-affirming care. Despite this, critics still hurl insults at her, which strips her of her femininity, while knowing the fact that she met the gender requirements to compete as the gender she identifies with. The truth is, there's a lot of coach grills in the world, and people are too ignorant or too scared to engage or consider an honest conversation. These movies, TV shows, cartoons are not just entertainment, they're ways for people to get their message across to a broader audience. And as a person who likes looking at media through a different lens, seeing what messages is being told, I have to respect that. What the team behind Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur did was clearly monumental and it was a step in the right direction. But sadly, Disney don't have the backbone to put their foot on the ground and support whatever step their team is trying to make. But of course, this isn't surprising and I expect nothing less from the spineless corporation. My name's Taken and we do a little reviewing around here. Peace out.